Okay.
What's going on?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah.
Why are we back here?
Got another episode today of the Upgrade podcast, and today, what are we speaking about?
Confidence.
Speaking about confidence.
You said that very confidently.
I did say that very confidently. I'm very happy with my confidence.
That's good. Well, why did you want to talk about confidence? It's a topic you mentioned to me maybe a month or so ago.
Just because I feel like confidence is a very important aspect of the things that we actually do in life. It's important as a man to actually be confident with your actions. It's important to carry yourself with the right sort of energy, I guess. You know, and it's very important to be sort of concrete with the things that you do, especially if you're entering into manhood or you know you have other responsibilities in your life.
What would you define as confidence?
To me, I think confidence is kind of being able to step up when you feel like you can't, or maybe when other people feel like they can't. So it could be in a group setting or an individual setting. There's obviously like different ways of breaking it down as well. So like in terms of like growing your confidence, you've got things like stepping outside of your comfort zone, which we'll talk about a little bit later on.
Yeah.
But I think confidence as a whole, if you ask me to define it, I would say it's doing things that you either usually wouldn't do, or carrying yourself in a way which sort of radiates the right energy. I don't know. I don't really know how to explain it in words.
It is a difficult one to explain. But you were saying
it's like being able to.
You were saying being able to step up in a situation where you're not sure you can do something. So would you say confidence doesn't necessarily require evidence?
What do you mean by evidence?
So you don't need evidence that you can do a thing to feel confident that you can do it.
Like I guess
like let's just use the gym for example. I don't need evidence of lifting a certain weight to be confident that I can lift it.
I see what you mean now, yeah. I don't think you necessarily need evidence when it comes to confidence. I think if you know you can do something, then... if you know you can do something without having to question it in your mind, I think you've just cracked on what confidence might mean for me. Then I think that's what like confidence kind of is. So I don't think any sort of concrete evidence is necessary.
Yeah.
At all, especially with the gym example that you mentioned. If you willingly know that you can lift a certain weight in your head, then it shouldn't really be a problem. But however, I think that there does come to a point where maybe like, I don't know, potentially like your ego can be inflated, and then that's where...
So it's more just a self-belief.
Yeah, confidence is self-belief within yourself.
Okay.
Yeah.
I agree, because I feel like what you were saying before about confidence being able to do something or stepping up when you're not sure you can do something, I'd say that's more so courage.
Courage
is, showing bravery. You're showing bravery in spite of being afraid of something.
Yeah, no, I agree with you there. Actually, I think what I'm more defined is kind of stepping outside of your comfort zone / courage, which you're right about. So but I think if we're going to define confidence as like a definition, it's more so sort of having self-belief within yourself, and knowing that you're able to do something without any sort of veridical evidence to back it.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Yeah.
My definition, or how I would look at it from the point of having evidence. I do get the element of just believing in yourself, and that is important. But I feel like to feel truly confident in something, it requires preparation and evidence of something. Like, say if you're going to give a presentation in something in class or at work or whatever it is, if you prepared enough, then you're going to feel confident. So I feel like it requires that certain preparation or prior evidence to know, okay, I'm able to do this. So for me, it kind of ties into competence.
Okay.
So if you look at an athlete, for example, if they're at a certain level and they have a certain level of competence, then they're going to be confident in their skills.
When you say competence, what do you mean by that? Do you mean like what do you mean?
Like they... How do I define competence?
Like knowing
Like
the ability to do something, or
you're it within a certain skill set. You excel. Not even excel, but you can just fulfill
expectations.
as not expectations, a task. You can complete a task well, basically. You can look at competence in all areas, like at work.
It's like competency-based questions.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So your ability to perform a task well.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no, I get that.
So for me, that ties into being confident. If you're competent at something, you're more likely to feel confident. So that's why I think you need the evidence.
Yeah, no, fair enough. I think, yeah, you're right. I agree with you there. I agree with you to a certain degree. I think evidence is important. However, I also do feel like when we're talking about the whole self-belief aspect of things, do you think that evidence is necessary when it comes to confidence, or not really?
It is and it isn't, because at the same time you can prepare for things and that's going to make you feel more confident, and having prior evidence of something is going to make you feel more confident. There's also no reason why you shouldn't feel confident in yourself to do something. Like, I'll use the example of maybe approaching a stranger and talking to them. There's no reason why you shouldn't feel confident doing that. As much as
why though?
There doesn't have to be a reason. That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you in that self-belief, it can seem a little delusional, but there's no reason why you shouldn't feel confident to do a certain thing.
Yeah, no, you're right. Like, let's talk about the example of actually like approaching someone right there. You're so basically you're saying that there's no reason as to why you shouldn't be confident enough to approach a stranger and spark up a conversation with them. I believe kind of differently with that. You know, I think if I was gonna go like walk up to some random stranger in a gym or wherever I might be to ask for a spot like on my bench press or whatever, I think there's always like a sense of general anxiety for me, but I don't know if that's created by myself or if that's just something that of course it's something that everybody may feel, because you know you have a lot of thoughts backing that up, or maybe intrusive thoughts backing that up, let's say. So when you say that it doesn't require any confidence to approach a stranger. You said
no, there's no reason.
There's no reason. Yeah. I don't know. I think there's always that stigma of like being worried about what people will think if you actually go and approach a random person, or what that person may think.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think I'm talking about it more from an aspect of like approaching the opposite gender to like try and slide your number to them.
I see what you mean, but I feel like it applies to everything. Like we'll use the example with lifting weights. Like if you're gonna go for a PR, you shouldn't talk to yourself negatively. There's no reason for you to not feel confident in achieving something.
Especially when you know you've been putting the work in as well.
Regardless of evidence. So I agree and disagree. I partly think that you do need evidence, but I also think you can be confident for no reason. But a lot of people will see that as delusion.
A lot of people could also see that as arrogance as well.
Yeah, that's true. And I think you mentioned that before when you were talking about self-belief. Like there's a fine line between confidence and arrogance.
And what is that fine line to you? Because to be honest,
to me they're the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arrogance and okay.
So a lot of people. I know a lot of people disagree with me because I've had this conversation before, and people usually say that arrogance is, they're a bit more cocky, like they're a bit more full of themselves, and they may not have any reason to. So that's where the evidence comes in. They may not have any reason to back it up, but I feel like, to me, arrogance is just a loud form of confidence and humility. Because you can be confident and humble, or you can be confident and arrogant. So the arrogance is just loud confidence, and humility to me is just quiet confidence.
I see what you're saying, right? But then let's throw an example, and let's say like you're in the gym, right? And then there's this like big boulder guy, whatever, big hench guy, Like, you know, saying, oh, I can lift this weight, I can lift, you know, 300 kg deadlift, whatever it might be. And then he goes to lift it and he can't lift it, right? Do you not think that his sort of mistake there has made him look arrogant per se? And therefore, the distinction between confidence and arrogance is there because he was being arrogant in his own right to say that he could lift the X amount of weight, but then when he performed the action, he couldn't lift it, right?
Yeah.
So therefore, he's being arrogant. You know, it's fake confidence.
You're saying he's being arrogant because...
I think he's being arrogant because he can't. He said that he could lift the weight, but then he couldn't lift it, and he performed the action and he couldn't lift it. So therefore, in my eyes, what I see is he's that his arrogance get the better of him. So it's essentially a fake confidence. That's what I think confidence.
I see what you're saying, but the reason I disagree is because you can be confident in something and still fail.
You can.
So you can apply it to everything. You can be confident you're going to get a job. You can be confident that you're going to get into a relationship successfully or anything.
Yeah.
You can be confident about it, but still fail. That's what I'm saying. Arrogance or humility is just how it's perceived. Whether the person's loud or whether the person's quiet about it.
I'm going to jump on your ship. With that one.
Okay.
I'm going to say arrogance is, what do you say?
It's a form of confidence.
It's a form of confidence. There you go.
It's a form of
2024. I've jumped on arrogance is a form of confidence. Anyway, yeah.
I think arrogance can be a beneficial tool. Like, not actually being arrogant because you don't want to come across like a dick essentially. But I think it can be a useful tool in trying to build your own confidence. In terms of having self-belief but no reason to believe in yourself. That's it. For me, that's a good way to build your self-esteem. Like, to believe that you can do something without prior knowledge of or experience of doing a thing. Yeah. Just believing in yourself for the sake of it. I think it's gonna build your confidence in any area.
Comes to like the sort of point of like, is it self-affirmation or just affirmations to yourself? I don't know if people do this because it's always something that I see on like social media on Instagram, right? But they say, oh, like, you know, get a mirror and start talking to yourself in this way and that way and this. I always thought it was a bit like, not loserish, but it's a bit like, it's a bit cringy, yeah. But like, it's kind of like how.
But it is really important. Positive, because at the end of the day, it's positive self-talk.
I mean, let me give you a word. Neuroplasticity. Can you define that for the people?
Is that how your brain like forms?
I think
connections.
There's. Oh, sorry, okay. I need to double check this. I need to fact check this. But I remember.
Just before we go on to that. With the affirmations and like looking into the mirror and stuff. It is really important that you speak positively to yourself because your brain is going to believe whatever you tell it. And I saw a quote from Bruce Lee. I can't remember it in its entirety, but he was basically saying that words are energy, and as human beings, we respond to energy. So be careful with the words that you use because consciously or subconsciously, if you speak about yourself positively or negatively, you're going to believe it.
That's true. That is true.
So I think, as cheesy as affirmations may seem, they can actually be helpful.
They can be beneficial, and I kind of like what you said about Bruce Lee there because it's like comes out from kind of like a spiritual aspect as well in a way. You know, your words have like, or certain words have certain like positive or negative vibrations towards the way you may think about yourself in terms of how you speak to yourself. So it's 100% facts. I want to go quickly into the concept of neuroplasticity, but I want to fact check myself because.
Why do you want to talk about that?
Because there's when we were talking about affirmations, right? I remember seeing something about neuroplasticity, which is obviously changing the way that your brain functions.
Yeah.
And I know we're going a bit off topic and we're going into the whole like psychology side of things, but I think it's kind of really important.
Yeah. What's the definition?
Okay, so neuroplasticity, or also known as neural plasticity or brain plasticity, is a process that involves adaptive, structural, and functional changes to the brain. So that's why it's kind of relevant to like affirmations and like why positive self-talk is important. Obviously, if you have a mindset, or if you sort of think of yourself in a certain way. So, for example, I may think of myself as something. I mean, this is not how I actually think of myself, but I may think I'm too small. You know, like height wise, or I'm ugly, whatever.
Yeah.
Like if you constantly tell yourself, oh, I'm good looking, etc., 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 eventually something's going to happen in the brain. I'm not sure about the whole biology side of it,
Yeah.
but that concept is known as
Like
neuroplasticity.
you're changing the way
You
think.
change it, exactly. You're changing the way that you think, and you're essentially changing the way that your brain functions in terms of how you think about yourself. So that's why thought it was important to mention it in there.
Yeah.
But yeah, neuroplasticity is an important concept. If you don't want to say like, oh, positive self-talk or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Well, let's going back to confidence.
Yeah.
We left off talking about the lifter who's who's arrogant but failed. So going into the ego side of things, a lot of the time people say ego is the enemy, and I would agree with that 80%.
I would say you having an ego is quite important, but I'll let you carry on.
I think for most people it's better that they have less of an ego than they do have more of an ego. I think you have to learn how to use your ego.
Do you not think
benefit?
Do you not think having an ego could be an important part of like generating self-belief though? I think so.
Yes, I would say that it ties into arrogance, because we were saying that, well, the definition of ego is your sense of self-importance and self-esteem. So having that arrogance and being a bit delusional, it would benefit increasing your self-esteem.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, I think like when I mentioned to you, I think it's sort of important to have a sense of ego. I think if you don't have your ego, you kind of lose your sense of self-worth. Like there's always somebody out there like sort of doing the whole I'm humble act. Meaning like they're completely moderate in the things that they do. They kind of let other people walk all over them. That's just like from what I've seen based on personal experiences. But at the same time, I think having an ego. What did you define ego as again?
Your sense of self-importance.
I think it's important to sort of think that you always have a sense of self-importance. But it kind of needs to be controlled in the right way. Obviously, if you don't control it in the right way, you make a fool out of yourself, like the lifter who failed.
I think it takes time to learn how to use it for your benefit. So
how would you use something like that to your benefit though?
You use it as a challenge.
To sort of challenge yourself?
Yeah.
Okay,
so probably my best reference on ego is this great man here, Michael Jordan. And if you watch a lot of his interviews or even his documentary, he like one thing he says over and over again is that he took it personal. Like he took everything personal. So to him, he took everything as a challenge. But the reason I say most people aren't equipped to have an ego or to use their ego is because they don't accept that challenge.
In the sense that they're too comfortable with where they are, or?
No, so more so talking about insecurity.
Okay,
so a lot of the time people say insecurity is a bad thing. It's only a bad thing if you don't choose to do anything about it. So insecurity is feeling inadequate, which obviously is not good. We don't want to feel inadequate, but you can't just say I feel insecure and then not do anything about it. But ego comes into play where you can accept that you have insecurity, but you also acknowledge I'm going to put in the work to get better.
Clip that. Sorry. Yeah, I thought what you said was bang there, man. I thought you said what you said there made a lot of sense. But I'll let you carry on. I don't want to break your flow.
Yeah, no. So just with ego, you need to accept that challenge. But a lot of people can't accept that challenge because a lot of people will feel insecure, but they won't do anything about their insecurities.
And so somebody that wouldn't do anything about their insecurities, right? How would you define them? Would you define them as somebody that's sort of too comfortable and doesn't want to take on a challenge, or would you basically say that they have no confidence at all?
Both.
Okay.
So mainly the first part about them being comfortable, because going through any sort of change is uncomfortable. So for them to accept that they feel insecure about a thing, but then have to put in the work, if they're lazy or don't have the work ethic, they're just going to play the victim essentially.
So essentially, yeah,
Stay in their comfort zone.
Yeah, so they're gonna stay in their comfort zone, which kind of brings me onto like the sort of the next topic, like stepping outside of your comfort zone and how important it can be. I think because we're going off what we said about insecurities. I think a lot of people that are in their sort of comfort spaces right now, they have a lot of insecurities insofar as the fact that, like, you know, they don't necessarily want to change anything about their lives, even though they know that change is important. And to make that change, you kind of need to, you know, essentially step outside of your comfort zone. But to expand upon that is to make yourself feel uncomfortable. So I can speak for myself and say, like, you know, when it comes to doing interviews for a particular type of job, or any type of job really, I know that I'm very good at speaking to people, or I know that I go like this the whole flipping day, man. I can do it for ages, but and I can articulate myself very well. However, when I actually sort of get to the actual interview and they're asking me about, like, to sell myself, like, not asking me to sell myself, but I have to sell myself at that point. I just stumble, and I think I've realized in my sort of journey through life, I think that's due to a lack of exposure.
It's just constant practice. Yeah,
it's constant practice, but it's also I've been so comfortable with where I am that I don't want to put myself in that position. Do you get me? Like and that's why there's been like a lack of exposure to me. So I think the more sort of exposure you have to something that may make you feel uncomfortable, the more confident you'll be, essentially. There's been other times where I've, like, sort of struggled to step outside of my comfort zone. One time when I was on holiday, I went to New Zealand, like, last year, you know, family holiday thing, and there's this thing called Auckland Tower. And I don't know if we're gonna put the video in or not. We hadn't seen the video, but basically just right before we recorded, anyway, so you had to jump off this, like, 200-foot 300-foot tower. I don't know, like, the actual logistics behind it, and, like, I don't really have a crippling fear of heights, but it's something that I've not really done before, and I didn't really want to seem like a bit of a chicken in front of my family. So I was like, yeah, I'll do it. And then I get to the top of the tower, and I'm looking down, like, what have I done? And I'm just like, you know what, I'm just gonna jump. I'm gonna fuck it, I'm gonna jump. So I jumped, got to the floor, had this, like, huge adrenaline rush, and then I realized I had this, like, thought in my mind that made me realize, okay, cool, if I can do this, I can do anything. I can take on the whole world at this point. Obviously, I think the ego is a bit inflated at this point, right? But there's a certain sort of feeling that you get from stepping outside of your comfort zone that is unmatched, really and seriously unmatched. And
I think it's sorry to cut you off.
No.
I think it's the feeling of winning.
Exactly. Yeah. Makes me feel like I haven't won enough in my life.
You conquered something, so it's like, I can keep going. I can do more and more.
Exactly. And as temporary as that feeling may be, if you expose yourself more to certain environments that you don't really like, you're going to have that feeling more. And if you have that feeling a lot more, there's a lot more growth coming your way. There's a lot more sort of, you know, there's good things coming your way, essentially, and you're going to build yourself as a character. You're going to have more life experience. You're going to be telling your grandkids about, you know, certain shit, whatever it might be. You know,
it's just about trying. Like, your comfort zone will stop you from trying. Like, it will make you think, like, you'll just make up different reasons why you're too scared to do something, or you know, just different excuses. Like, even the first time we filmed the podcast, or even when I first filmed my first video, of course you were nervous, and, you know, maybe weeks before you're thinking about doing it, but you haven't actually done it. You're still in your comfort zone. I was probably definitely nervous before filming my first video, but you just have to jump off the building, essentially. Like, you just have to go for it. There's no real secret formula. You just have to
take a chance and roll the dice. Sorry to cut you off.
No, you're good. You're good. Because I remember you said you were a bit nervous, like, when you first filmed the
man, I was like jittery like this, like Smeagol from Lord of the Rings. I was like,
but we just kept going, and one after the other, you get more and more confident, and what you're doing, and you get better over time. And I think as you get better, you become more confident in yourself because you feel more competent at what you're doing.
Exactly. I think it's like what I was saying about the interview example. It's like the exposure. Like obviously when you're doing something that you don't want to do. I'm not to say I didn't want to do the podcast, which I did, but I was just nervous talking in front of the camera.
Yeah.
The exposure and sort of being in the setting makes you realise, oh, it's not actually that bad. Like, you know, you're just talking.
Yeah.
And you don't get all like, you know, like my legs are moving right now, but you can't see that.
Yeah, you don't get as nervous.
Yeah, no nerves, no jitters or anything like that. I like that. I like that conversation about comfort zones, actually.
Yeah.
I feel like I got my point across really well. Sorry.
You did.
Yeah.
You did. Jump off more buildings. That's the lesson.
Yeah.
But no, fear is something that will...
Maybe don't jump off more buildings. Yeah, sorry, carry on.
Is something that will hold you back. Fear will destroy a lot of your dreams and goals, to be honest. Anything you want to do in life, I feel like the worst feeling you can have is regret. Like regretting something that you wanted to do and then maybe never having a chance to do it again. I think that's one of the things I hate in this world is feeling scared.
Why is that?
Because it's just like, I don't want to regret having not tried something.
Yeah, but to be honest, I think there's like, you know how they say you can't really live a life full of regret.
Yeah.
There's certain things that I regret, but I don't really give a fuck about anymore, man. Like experiences, for example.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like, it could be like going on this holiday. Like I could have gone to Switzerland like 5, 6 years ago, but I didn't. And, you know, my family looked like they had the time of their life, but then I don't really give a shit. I'm talking about those types of examples.
But I think things you truly want to do, I think it is true that you regret the things that you didn't do more than things that you did do.
That's true. All right, yeah.
The things that you really like wanted to do deep down to your core, like the dreams that you had, or even something small, like even if you wanted to approach a stranger.
Approaching strangers, don't you love this
it's just an
example of approaching strangers.
Yeah, because a lot of people want to do it. A lot of people, dating is a big thing.
Yeah.
A lot of people want to improve their social skills. So, just the example of approaching someone, if you genuinely think, well, not forget approaching someone. There's someone that you like, but you never shoot your shot. Essentially, you're gonna regret not shooting your shot, and it's better to not live with that regret. It's better to live with the failure than it is to live with the regret.
In that respect, I can kind of see what you're saying. Yeah,
because you don't even know if you're gonna. When you regret something, you don't even know if you would have failed or not.
Yeah.
You just assume that you.
If we're talking about things that we truly want to do, then 100% you're right. You know, you don't want to live. You don't want to live with regrets. Otherwise, you'll feel it later on in life, right? But that's to say that sometimes, you know, like it's not. I think regret is a bad thing, but then I also don't think it's a really bad thing. Do you get me? Like maybe it's because I haven't lived life to the fullest yet. That's why I'm saying that.
Yeah, I think we're not old enough to fully understand what, you know, we could regret, because right now we're at an age where we can do a lot of things. So
it's at the start of our adult career.
So it's just making the most of life, essentially.
Yeah.
And tying it all back to confidence. You want to feel confident in yourself so you don't end up in those situations, in those regretful situations. I think it's a skill that you want to build up that will move you forward in life and will take you away from fear, essentially. Because I think that's, I know, me personally, I hate fear. That's one thing I hate. I feel like everyone should try to conquer their fears. And I remember Will Smith said something. Do you remember when he did the skydiving thing?
No.
Okay. Well, he did.
No.
He did a skydiving thing. And I remember he did like a talk show after or something. And he was just saying, like, the best things in life are on the opposite side of fear.
I've heard that quote before.
Maybe someone else came up with that. I don't know.
No. I think it was from Will Smith.
Yeah.
Or it might have been from somebody else, but I've heard it before.
And I think that's true, because in your mind, you build up these things in your mind, like why they're so scary. But if you have any reference to something that you were scared of and then you conquered it, you know it's a great feeling. Like you said, when you jumped off the building and you felt like you could take on the world. I feel like that's why it's so important to.
If this goes viral, don't be jumping off buildings, please. I was on
you use a bungee cord.
I was on a bungee cord, yeah, just before we get the wrong message out there, just in case, you never know.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, but yeah, don't go jumping off buildings, please. But yeah, no, I get your point. I get your point behind what you're saying. Sorry, I think what were you saying again when I was jumping off the building? I can't
About fear.
Yeah, no. I think the biggest thing to sort of overcome fear, personally speaking, like I'll speak about that example as well, is I don't know what I was thinking in my mind. I think maybe it could have been like an ego standpoint from that example of me jumping off.
You have to prove yourself.
Yeah. So I had to I felt like a sense of proving myself that I wasn't scared, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And also because I know I'm never going to go to this damn country again, so I might as well just do it.
Yeah.
That's been a life of regret.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You got that.
Yeah, I'm getting older as we speak. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, no.
Yeah, so I guess I didn't want to regret the moment. I was like, it's very, very unlikely that I'll probably come back there again, especially because it costs like so much money to go out there. And it's on the other side of the world. But yeah, no, like I didn't want to regret anything. I didn't want to leave anything behind because I knew I'd be thinking about it on the plane back. And
you got to take risks.
Have to take risks in this life to actually get somewhere. Risks. Always take risks and get over the fear. And I think one way to get over.
Sorry, relax. I bastardly touched his knee. Fucking hell, look like I killed someone. Jesus.
One way to get over one way to get over fear is just to do it, man. Just don't listen to the voices in your head. Just do it.
I think you have to have a bias towards action rather than thinking, because once you start thinking, then that's when all the excuses start to come in.
Yeah.
And I think that's why courage is actually more important than confidence. Because confidence is more linked to your competence and your prior evidence. But courage is more so self-belief, because it's your ability to act without prior knowledge or experience, but just pure belief in yourself that you can do a thing. Or not even being sure if you can do a thing, but doing it anyway, despite preparation and how scared you are of actually completing the task and doing the thing. So despite courage being important, still focusing on confidence, how can someone build their confidence?
How can somebody do things more that make you feel uncomfortable? Like it can be, doesn't have to be a massive thing straight away. It can be, for example, stepping into a cold shower in the morning, you get out of your comfort zone, or, doing something differently during the day, having, actually, no, that's a stupid example. I was about to say, have one less sugar in your tea, but it doesn't make a difference.
I see what you mean, though. It's like creating small wins.
Yeah. Do like your bed in the morning.
When you slowly build momentum.
Build the momentum and, do things that you wouldn't usually do during the day. Or what else could you do? Go talk to a stranger, You
have to practice.
Exactly.
I think whatever it is, you have to practice to build confidence. If you can't get to a level where you just have self-belief for no reason, then maybe you need to go down the route of building that evidence, which happens by starting small. So that could be, if you want to use the example of social skills, that could be when you pay for something at shop, just having a friendly conversation with the cashier. Because I think a lot of the time in those specific situations, it's all the possibilities that go into your head. So if you're in a situation where the possibilities of something going wrong are lower, then you'll feel a lot more safe and you won't feel as scared of the situation.
I'll give you an example. Right, I like to speak to my Uber drivers.
Okay.
I mean, I know that's like pretty much a given in this country, right? But I don't know, because I feel like they're people that you're never really going to see them again.
Yeah.
Right. So I think it's important to. I think personally, out of common courtesy and also...
You just tell them all your problems?
Yeah, kind of. and you just never see them again.
Yeah.
But like even then, like sometimes they can be a bit stiff at the start, and you poke a few more questions at them. They open up eventually, even though they might seem a bit annoyed. They open up,
Yeah.
and you meet all.
Trying to flirt with your Uber drivers.
No,
it's a bit weird, bro.
Shut up, bro. you meet people from all walks of life there, and I think generally after I get out of an Uber on the way home from work or wherever it may be, I feel good. I feel quite good, and I'm like, okay, I had a very nice conversation with this person.
So I see what you're saying. Let's go through another example. Say someone wants to build more confidence to go to the gym and
just walk in your pussy. It's not that deep. No. No, because I know there's actually. Oh, were you saying how to overcome that, or were you asking me how I overcome that?
Well, if you have an example of yourself, then you can use that.
I went with a friend for my first ever session.
Yeah.
I'd say first we started off doing calisthenics in a local park.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually that kind of helped me, I guess. And
I think that's because you, not only because we went together, but you also built a foundation, so you had a certain level of competence.
Not really.
Do you not think?
Kind of. I used to do bicep curls when I was 14. But
I'm saying after we trained together, you had a certain level of knowledge or ability to be able to do it yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, I mean, obviously, doing calisthenics is a little bit different to actually pushing weights at the gym. But I think once I got some knowledge into my system, into my brain about certain movements and what body parts I need to be using and what exercises I need to be doing to grow this particular muscle and how many sets and progressive overload and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
so you had some preparation.
Yeah. I had some preparation, and it gave me a bit of a boost. It gave me a bit of a boost. No. You gave me a bit of a boost.
I wasn't thinking that was sus.
No. But you did. My first the first time I was ever consistent was when I was with you. It's, I had.
That sounds.
Yeah, that sounded sus. Yeah. But that it really helped me a lot.
So would you tell people to do the same thing? Go with a friend?
Not really.
What other advice?
I mean, to be honest, I just say just walk in. Stop being I can't say that in today's generation.
Actual preparation. Someone needs to feel more confident.
I would say find out what you want to do first with your body. If you want to build some muscle, or if you want to.
What your goals?
Yeah, what your goals are. If you want to improve cardio, and then slowly do more research. Speak to people, I guess. Maybe try and arrange somebody to go with. Can be your girlfriend. Can be a very close friend of yours. Touch the knee. Anyway, it literally, I think the best way to overcome that sort of not lack of confidence is just basically exposure. I think exposure is also a very, very important thing. I think the more times you go, the more you'll be confident enough to actually step in by yourself. Or
I would take it a step further to say gradual exposure. So in terms of, say the first time someone goes to the gym, maybe they just go for 10 minutes and with a PT or whoever's there, they look around.
Yeah.
Then maybe the next time they go, they have a session with a personal trainer. Then the next time they go with a friend a couple times, and gradually they learn what they need to do themselves and they feel a bit more confident.
Yeah.
So I think it's all about doing things gradually. It is very hard to just rip the band-aid off and do everything at once.
Whilst we're on the topic of that example, right? And I hear what you're saying, gradual exposure is important, especially, but I've never really understood why people may find it hard to actually walk in to a gym and be like, oh, I don't feel comfortable here. Perhaps it could be they might be thinking what other people thinking of my body and etc. But the fact is you've overcome something to be in there in the first place, and we're talking if you go there alone. So I think going the extra mile, unless you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
If you go the extra mile, I mean, if you've gone the extra mile in the first place, what's gonna stop you from going another mile?
So what was your question? Why
do people struggle with that? I mean, this is because I don't.
Did you struggle to jump off a building?
I didn't.
Yeah, no, you did it, but you didn't just fucking walk off, did you?
No, no,
Exactly.
I didn't just walk off. You're right. No, I think pride. That's why I wanted to do it.
Yeah, but you still had to. You probably still had a conversation with yourself, and you didn't just do it instantly and like.
Yeah, no. I had a conversation with myself. Actually, you're right.
Exactly.
Yeah, sorry.
So it does. So
Didn't mean to offend.
No. But the reason I say that is everyone's gonna have a different struggle, and everyone's gonna view the struggles differently. So just because for you now, walking into the gym seems easy.
Yeah.
For someone else, walking into the gym seems like jumping off a
Okay.
building.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying now. Yeah.
So that's why you need to do it gradually.
Gradual exposure is important,
You need to,
especially if you're fat. I'm joking. Bro.
you need
cut
to,
that bit out, please.
Yeah, I'm not cutting out. You need to ease yourself into it.
No. You're right. You're right. Yeah. I'll let you finish.
No, that was it. You just need to ease yourself into it, and over time, you gradually become more confident.
Gradual exposure. How else can you make yourself more confident? Providing yourself with knowledge.
So looking for guidance.
Yeah, having conversations with yourself as well, like in your mind.
Yeah.
I guess we can talk about affirmations here as well, like overcoming the thought that you can't go by yourself and just go. I can do this. I am worthy, etc., etc.
Yeah, I think building the right mindset can help you become more confident as well. Because it is hard to. It's actually quite hard to be delusional, like just out of the blue. I feel like delusion is kind of built up.
What do you mean? Actually,
Like,
before I say anything,
like say I want to.
sorry.
Like say I want to become the greatest boxer in the world. It would be quite hard for me to just automatically create that delusion.
Okay.
I feel like it would take me time to build my mindset.
I see what you're saying now. Okay, carry on.
So that the delusion becomes real to me.
Making yourself more delusional to the point where you have self-belief, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. No, I see where you're coming from with that.
Yeah. I think
that's a three-dimensional thought. That
where you can fuck. That's where you can take it. You can take it back to arrogance, and that element of believing in yourself is not entirely warranted. Because at the end of the day, 99% of people aren't going to believe in you.
Apart from your mum and dad, but yes, 99% of people.
No one. Okay, let me reword it. No one is going to believe in you as much as you can.
True.
No one else can have the confidence for you.
No one else is going to do the work for you either.
That's very true.
Unless you have a rich dad. But yeah, no. You're right. No one else is going to believe in you, so you have to believe in yourself in order to make things happen and be essentially more confident, which is what you're trying to say, right? So that's why we're talking about self-belief being such an important aspect of not just self-improvement, but just having
becoming a better version of yourself.
Exactly. How to become a better version of yourself.
Now let's create a quote to end the podcast. Let's create a quote about confidence. When pigs fly, seagulls go. Nah, I'm just chatting shit.
Fuck it.
I was just chatting shit.
You know, the look on your face made me look like you had gold written all over your
No, I was chatting shit.
I'm gonna say time is short. Don't live in fear. Be a man.
That's strong.
Whoa!
My one was when you feel the most fear, that's when you jump.
Buildings. Sorry.
You messed up.
Sorry.
Messed up my fucking.
No. It's a good quote.
When you feel the most fear, that's the time you jump.
Oh, I like that one. But I was gonna say, just do it. But that's not like, yeah. But sponsorship.
I wish.
Just do it.
But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's the overall message of confidence, courage, using your ego, is believe in yourself,
Mm-hmm.
even if no one else does.
Nice. I like that. Believe in yourself, and good things will come into fruition.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's everything on confidence.
it is everything on confidence. Thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully, you are more confident after watching this podcast. We will see you in the next one. Did I just steal the outro from you?
No, that was a nice outro. See you guys in the next one.
Yeah.
Peace.
No, wait. Sit down. No, let's go.
So you want me to cut it so it's sitting down? Fuck off.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I'm keeping that in. Bullshit.
You're keeping that in.